I'm starting a lot of things. I'm not finishing all the things. Kind of represents all the colours of previous projects gone by. Hello everyone, I'm Emma, also known as Wander and Create with Emma. Welcome to my channel and another monthly vlog episode from me, where I walk you through the last month, showing you what I was working on with knitting, crochet and other yarny based activities. I can't believe we're in November already. As I'm recording this, it is the last weekend in November and I don't know what's happened this month. I haven't really picked up my camera at all. Normally I try and pick up and talk to you guys as I go, and I just haven't done that. I've done a few shots of things that I've been up to activity wise, but no updates on my whip, so I'm going to put it all in today's episode. I have some design work that I have to update you on, including one now finished design. I have been trying to get back to my yarn stash. So as many of you know, at the start of this year, I decided that I was going to focus on trying to get through the yarn I had in my stash. I have one big plastic tub full of pretty much leftover yarn and some like full skeins, and I was working my way through making projects that would use up my stash. This month I kind of did a bit of reflection and realised that I had spent a few months away from my stash and actually had been buying more yarn and using that new yarn that I'd bought and neglecting my stash a little bit. And as we're now heading closer to the year, I want to get back to my stash. So that is what I have been working on this month and will take with me into December, and I will talk more about that as we go through the video. But for now, grab your whip, grab a hot drink or whatever you're fancying, and we'll get stuck in to my November vlog. You might notice I have been trying to jazz up my background with having my little gauge swatch corkboard behind me. This section, although it doesn't quite look like it today because it is a Saturday afternoon and it's quite a grey day here in Vancouver, this has the best light, this area. So, but it's a very plain wall. I haven't put anything on the walls yet. So I have my lovely, beautiful cushion, the Stella Quilt cushion by Laura Penrose. And now my swatch corkboard that I will put up for recording videos to have a bit more of a nice visual. Okay, the first thing I want to show you, because I am very excited about it, is my knitted collar. So in last month's October vlog, I hadn't quite finished it. I had excitedly cast on, but now I have finished it. Here it is. Let me try and adjust my mic, not to disturb you too much, hopefully, but so that I can put it on for you. So this is knit with less than a skein of the West Yorkshire Spinners Solstice yarn, which is a blend of wool, cashmere and something else. I can't remember. I'll put it in the description. It is lovely and soft. So it's, as you can tell, it's going to be a detachable collar. I have these ties, which are I-cord ties, and the collar has this picot edging. So you knit the main bit of the collar and then you pick up stitches to do this picot edging. The back is like more rectangular to sit straight across the back. It's very much inspired by those kind of cotton shirts with the big Peter Pan collar I've been seeing. And I thought to myself, can I knit a version of that you could attach to any outfit to change it up a bit? Even I think it works quite well with this kind of Breton style striped sweater. I have worn it to work like this actually. Yeah, I think it's pretty cute and I'm excited. I have written the pattern, or I've almost finished writing the pattern, and I will send that to my tech editor. I'll reach out to her shortly and see when she's able to review it. And at that point, I'll start looking for testers. So as I mentioned last month, if you'd be interested in knitting something like this, it doesn't take too much time. I'd say it depends obviously how quick you knit and how much time you have, but it would take a couple of weeks, but I would have the testing period at probably 3 weeks. It's less than a skein. So if you have just a skein of wool lying around, it's a 4-ply yarn at a kind of fingering to sport weight. I'll have all the details in the pattern when I do a test call out. But if you're interested, the best place and the first place I'll be putting the call out is my newsletter. So I would head over to wanderandcreatewithemma.com subscribe if you would like, and I'll put the link to that in the description below. So I finished that, got very excited, and as I was writing the pattern, I wanted to make another one in another colour, and as the festive season is approaching, I decided to make it in red. Now, this is Cascade Heritage Sock yarn, so it is definitely not the same as the West Yorkshire Spinners Solstice yarn. I didn't do a gauge swatch for it. I just excitedly cast on because I thought I just want to play around and see if I could give this as a substitute yarn. But to be honest, probably no. Yes and no, because it is a smaller, I use the same needle size, but it is ultimately smaller and just doesn't quite look as oversized as the blue one. I also haven't washed and blocked this one fully yet since finishing, and I think I did some bad picking up here because it's kind of puckering a bit, but it could still work. It has a little festive flair to it. So yeah, as I say, hoping to get the pattern finalized. I find finalizing writing the pattern the biggest struggle for me, because I always worry that I haven't thought of everything. I question myself of, is that right? Do those numbers fit? But that's where my tech editor is super helpful, because you're not always going to catch everything, and that's what they're there for. So anyway, I've been thinking of a name for this collar, and I came up with the Tide collar. And that is because I felt like the picot edging really represents the kind of ripple effect that the sea makes as it comes into the shore, with the tide going in and out, or those little like foam ripples that are left behind on the shoreline. And, very much an inspiration for me, because where I live at the moment, I do walk alongside the ocean most days, and I love it so much. It makes me so happy, especially like the ocean on a calm day, just sitting on the beach, watching the tide come in and out. So the Tide collar it is. But I do see this as a very kind of fun accessory piece. Very small, just one skein. You could take it and accessorize, meaning you don't have to change your outfit. You could just simply add this and it kind of changes your look. So that is my thinking and inspiration behind it. So yeah, look out for this pattern coming hopefully in the early new year. While we're on design work, I'll talk about my other design that has been a bit of a work in progress for a while now. And that is the baby blanket that I've been designing, that is a combination of knitting and crochet. And I think last time I caught up with you, I was nowhere close to finishing it. I was just showing you where I was at. But after editing that video where I was talking about it, I decided that I didn't love the look of it as a whole. Like the concept, yes, like it, but how I was putting together the blanket and the way that I didn't like for the person that I'm making it for. I wanted to do something different. So to recap, or if you didn't see this video where I talked about this baby blanket last time, I am making it like a quilted, kind of granny square inspired, also actually slightly Stella quilt blanket inspired, that idea of doing like one square at a time, and also that theme of stash busting, kind of going through your stash, being able to incorporate leftover yarn into your project. But I wanted to have something that was crochet and knit combined, because I feel like you don't see too many of those patterns. So I'll show you where I had been working on. So I had this. So as you can see, I'm doing mitered squares for the knitting, and then a classic kind of solid granny square. But there was something about this as I was showing it to the camera and then editing the video that I thought, I don't know if this is looking exactly how I want it to look for my intended, like the person and / baby that I'm making it for. Though I very much like the concept of combining colours into a square, doing different patterns, solid squares, ones a little squares within it, stripy, changing colour, alternating, etc., etc. So as I tend to do, I started all over again. not too different, but I decided that my approach now, I wanted it to be solid knitted squares. And so this is where I'm at. And you'll see I haven't really caught up with even where I was. But I'm now doing all the knitted squares in a solid colour, and then it's just the granny squares that I'm kind of alternating how I combine colours and the pattern of that, and with the occasional solid one. And I'm feeling much happier about that. But I do see this pattern as a very much, when I write it and publish it, it is going to be a play your own way, and I'll give lots of options for different colour combinations, ways you can put the colours together, and it'll be whatever floats your boat, whatever you like the look of. If you wanted to take the pattern and make every square solid, you could absolutely do that. It's going to be all yours. I'll have instructions for all the combinations that I have in my head. And yeah, still kind of figuring out exactly how I'm joining these squares as I go, and hoping to make it as easy and straightforward as possible for a pattern so that anyone can join in. But that's where I'm at. So again, we've not made much progress with this. The baby has been around for nearly 3 months now, so I really should be getting on with this. I just keep getting distracted by other things. I really am, I think I said last month even, that I'm feeling that kind of festive creep of my brain is going into overdrive with all the things I want to make. Not even necessarily holiday, Christmas related, although there definitely is some of that. But just in general, I'm like, oh, okay, I want to make this thing now, it's winter, and I'd like to make this, and I've got my stash to get back to. What can I make with that? That's all going on, and I'm starting a lot of things. I'm not finishing all the things. But now I've got my collar finished, and I'm kind of just doing some other whips. I should really get back to this as a new design of mine, and so that I can gift it, because it is going to be going to the UK as well. So there's a long way for this blanket to go before it gets to its owner. And the yarn that I am using for this is the Drops Baby Merino yarn. And I believe that's a DK weight. I'm using a 4mm needle, which is a 4.5mm needle, a US 6. Yeah, I'm enjoying this yarn. I haven't knit with this yarn before, but I was researching and saw that it is quite a good one for baby blankets or baby garments in general. So, and I'd agree, it's pretty soft, lovely colours, very like baby friendly. So yeah, that's the blanket. I'll keep you updated with that. No doubt it will feature in December and January's vlog as well. We can get it across the finish line. I can do this. November in Vancouver is always a bit of a tricky one. It's when the weather changes. You've tended to have this beautiful summer where the mountains are looking gorgeous. It's blue sky. You can go and hang out at the beach, watch a sunset, go for hikes, go camping, have a lovely time. And then in November, it really starts to change and get grey and wet. But I know that come the end of November is when the Christmas and festivities start to come out. So last weekend, we had a friend come visit us from Toronto. She has been to Vancouver before, but felt like she hadn't really done the touristy stuff because she's usually off to the island because she has a relative that lives on Vancouver Island. So we were going to show her the sights, and we did, except last weekend, it was absolutely miserable. Saturday was a washout. It was grey, it was cloudy, it was pouring with rain all day. But we carried on regardless. We put our waterproof jackets on and we headed around the seawall, ventured a little bit into Stanley Park, went around the lake, showed some other sites as well. But we also did a couple of Christmas things while she was here to kind of make up for, okay, the weather's miserable, but let's come and do these nice activities. So we went to Capilano Suspension Bridge, which I actually have never been to before, despite living here for 7 years. Yeah, 7 years nearly. Never done it because I felt like I just had a fear of the bridge. And it's also quite expensive, to be honest. And that had also put me off. It's $80 for an adult, which I think is a lot, even though I hadn't been, so I didn't know exactly what's up there, but I didn't feel like it was $80 worth of activity. However, because our friend is a content creator, she'd managed to get her myself a pass, and I thought, well, it's fun. The Christmas lights are going to be up at least. They just put them up that weekend. So maybe it's going to be a fun experience. And at least as a BC resident, I get to visit multiple times. You buy that $80 ticket, you get a year's pass. So I was like, maybe I just have to force myself to go to make it worth the money. So we went, and it was really pretty, like really lovely done. It was raining, but that kind of added to the atmosphere, to be honest, because it's in the trees, very Pacific Northwest vibes. So I didn't mind it. And because we were there early afternoon, but it was a little bit dark because of the gloom, but that made the lights stronger. So I didn't mind it, to be honest. It was really pretty. The bridge, the first time we walked across the bridge, I did not enjoy. I was trying to get there across as quick as possible. And it didn't help that there was someone else on the bridge that was purposely trying to sway it, which not for me, not for me. So I didn't look at the view, I didn't look down once, and just went straight across. And then the other side of the bridge, there is actually like a lovely tree top walkway, quite a few trails, more trails than I expected, to be honest. I thought it might be one boardwalk, but it was quite a few. And there seemed to be lots of activities for kids, like trail walks, looking out, spot these things. So I think it would be fun for kids. And once we did that, we had to go back across the bridge. And I like psyched myself up and just, told myself, enjoy it, take a deep breath. This bridge is fine. Try and enjoy it. So although I kept pace, I did manage to take a look at the view, take a look down at the river running far below me, and get some footage. So I did it. And yeah, a friend also took photos of my tied collar there, which I'm super excited about because I have never had my patterns taken kind of by someone that knows what they're doing with a proper camera, shall we say. I tend to use my phone, and James also uses a camera or a phone, but we don't super know what we're doing. So I'm really happy with the photos that she took, and you'll be seeing them as I promote the pattern, and they'll be featured in the pattern as well. All that is to say, as I have been trying to embrace the weather change in Vancouver, November initially was difficult because it was getting grey and wet, but I'm trying to make the most of it by being like, it's still nice. You just have to put your waterproof gear on, get out there, and all the Christmas lights are up. Everywhere is decorated like mad. That's the nice thing about it. But anyway, back to my whips. Okay, so a project that I managed to start. No, did I start it? I finished it in November, and you probably, if you saw my last video that was all about Christmas themed knits that I have completed over the years, it is the Holly Jolly socks. I'm obsessed with them. I think they're so cute, so festive. I talked about this in that video already, but this pattern by This Handmade Life, I bought the pattern quite a while ago, as in years ago, and they've been sitting there ever since. And every year I think I'm going to knit them and I don't. So this year was the year for me. The red and the white yarn is Cascade Heritage Sock Yarn, which is where I got the red yarn to make that collar. I finished these socks and realised I probably had enough left over to make that collar. I did, and I still have some red left, so it goes a long way. The green yarn is by a local yarn dyer called Bramble Ridge, and I love them. I just think they're great. I did have some issue with the short row heels, where for some reason my wrap and turns were really gaping. I managed to rectify that on the second sock, so I think it was just I had momentarily forgotten how to do wrap and turns properly, and I was doing it slightly wrong, so it's making it more gapey. I rectified it with the second sock, and it's fine to be wearing just a couple of times. I haven't worn them yet. They're sort of so neat and pristine. I don't want to wear them because then they'll start to change. But what's the point of making socks if you're not going to wear them? And I think I potentially have enough left to make another pair. Could be ambitious. I definitely have enough of the green and the white. The red not as much because of the collar I knit, but I had the same yarn a couple of years ago where I knit a bunch of Christmas socks for family. And So I think combined I could get away with it because it really isn't too much red. Kind of that changing of the red and the white. I might get away with it and I could gift them, but that might be a next year project because I don't think I'm going to have time with other things that I have planned in December to be doing that. So getting back to my stash, that's what I've been trying to do this November because everything has just gotten out of control. I have that white plastic tub that's not currently next to me, which is still full of yarn as it was in January. Slightly less, but I have been buying more, as I mentioned. And then I also have this basket, which is new. I got this year from a friend of mine that is meant to be keeping my whips in, but it's full of stuff. And I still have this little basket that is a complete disaster. It's got project bags in it and just random things, and that tub. So actually, if anything, stuff is getting worse and I really need to sort it out. Yarn is getting in a tangle. And so I think that's going to be a December thing. When I have a bit of time off work over Christmas, I am going to start untangling everything, sorting everything out again, ready to do my yarn stash review at the end of December into early January. So watch out because I will be doing a video for that to see how I've got on across the year. But I do think now that this is a project that I'm just going to keep going with into 2026 because why not? And my yarn stash is still going to be there. But you may remember 2 or 3 months ago, I did a swatch for the Seaglass tea by Wool & Pine. Very much a stash busting project. I'd done the swatch, hadn't gone back to it, but last weekend I got back to it and I have been a cast on, probably last Saturday. And in my naive little mind, I thought maybe I can get it done by the weekend and I will have finished it in November to have December free for other stash busting projects. But no, this is a fingering weight project. It's 1x1 color work. I can't knit that quickly. So, and I work full time, I don't know. It's like I don't know myself, but it's good to be ambitious. Here is where I am at 1 week after starting. So it's a yoke, top down yoke sweater. So I've done the neckline and you do some short row shaping at the back, which I did in one color, which was an option. But now I wonder if I should have done it in 1x1 color work, which was the other suggestion. But anyway, this is the front and the pattern. So my gauge swatch, I got the stitch row count fine. I got the stitch count fine, but my row gauge was off. I think their gauge is 30 rows in 4 inches and mine is actually 25. But that's okay. I think the stitch count is more important because the row count I can make up for by just doing additional rows. So for example, even when I finish doing the increases for the yoke, I will try it on as the pattern suggests. And if it isn't quite sitting where it should be by the time I followed the pattern for the yoke, I'll just keep going with some more rows. The same with the body, although I do intend to make this a cropped top anyways. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's definitely getting through my stash. So the pattern itself, they suggest it's a 1x1 color work and you're alternating colors every row, like 2 colors change every row. I haven't done that. I've instead been keeping the same 2 colors for 2 rows and then changing it. But what I'm doing is alternating where they are for each row. So row 1, I might have blue, pink, and then row 2, I'll do pink, blue. So they're changing a little bit. This does mean that it is looking slightly more striped than the original pattern by Wool & Pine in their versions, but I'm enjoying it. I'm not really planning, or not really, I haven't planned any colors at all. I'm just seeing how it's coming together as I go and just picking through my stash. I'm overall trying to keep the 2 colors that I choose, have one dark, one light. But I'm also a little bit unsure if I have enough of the darker colours. I seem to have a lot more light colours in my fingering weight yarn stash than I do dark. Let me grab the bag. Or I have a lot of kind of dark blue, but not necessarily other dark colours. So I'm really kind of breaking up a bit with the occasional picking like 2 light colours. But I'm not trying too hard to make everything cohesive. And I think despite that, it's somehow working together. I'm not sure how. I'm noticing that the yellow really stands out in this project against everything else. But I don't know, it's scrappy, but it's working for me. I like it. And I think it's going to be a fun project to wear, quite colourful, but kind of represents all the colours of previous projects gone by, mostly sock projects. But yes, slightly unsure if I'm going to have enough of the darker yarn to kind of keep up this dark and light combo. We will see. I just don't want it to get to a point where I'm like, wow, the only dark colour I have now is dark blue, so everything's just going to have to go dark blue, and then that's going to look really strange. So maybe I need to start adding in a few more like light rose more frequently, kind of break that up a little bit just in case. But overall, I'm enjoying it, but it is slow. I certainly am not going to get this finished in the next 24 hours. I'm not going to get it finished in December even, probably, because I have other plans for December. But that's okay. It is definitely getting me back on my mission to be using up my stash, and that is the main thing. Oh no, I've dropped some stitches. That was inevitable. And actually, these 4 things I have walked you through are the 4 things I have been working on this month. Actually, that's a lie. I have been working on some Christmas decorations, but that is a future video. Probably, actually, it will be the next video after this vlog, where I'm going through some Christmas decoration patterns, some that I have made previously and I'll be talking about, a bit like my Christmas knits video. And then I have been doing a couple of additional ones just to try out. Again, they have actually been good stash busters as well, so I'll talk about that. So it is very much kind of moving my focus back to my stash. But if you want some Christmas decoration inspiration, I am going to be releasing that video next weekend. So rather than having a gap, I'm going to be doing that. So you can subscribe if you don't already, so you don't miss that one. And then my other plans for December, I want to make a sweater. I realized that I kind of, in general, seem to make one every winter. And again, coming back to my stash, I still have a fair bit of worsted weight yarn in my stash, like random amounts. I used quite a lot of it making a scrappy version of the Hornby vest, my crochet vest pattern. But now I want to make a sweater, and I'm actually going to be frogging something of mine in order to get enough yarn for it. So that's going to be another video, and I'll talk about that later on in December. So that's my main plan for it. I know what jumper I want to make. I know what yarn I'm going to use for the bulk of it, but I am going to be frogging something that I'm just not reaching for. And I thought I just want to repurpose this yarn. So you can watch and wait to see what that is. You can put your guesses below if you want. And then, yeah, Christmas decorations. And I am going to be making a couple of pairs of Christmas socks, not the Holly and Jolly socks, but I have some other yarn that I want to use to make a couple of pairs of socks, which I will probably speak to in my December vlog because they will have been gifted by then. But yeah, they are my December plans, and then going to be doing a big review of my stash at the end of December or maybe early into January. See where we're at and make some plans going into 2026 of how I'm going to be using a bit more of that. Whether I use it, I give some of it away, I find other creative things to do with it. we'll see. But thank you for following this journey with me if you have been doing that throughout 2025. Thank you for following along with me and sharing your ideas. I will leave you there for now, and I will catch up with you again properly at the end of December to show you how my December has been, and hope that you share with me how your December has been. Let me know what your November has been like and what you have been working on over the last month. And please give this video a like if you've enjoyed it, and a subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss those future episodes from me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for another episode of Wonder and Create.